Hey yo, what is up FPG fam? Further here and welcome back to another Aether Gazer video. Today's video is all about Oneroy. We're going to be doing a full breakdown, full guide on this modifier in particular. I finally have her built up so we can go ahead and speak about her build, what's going to be best for her and things of that nature. Now before we jump into it, just a quick announcement that I have to mention. I had some unfortunate set of events happen, so on the channel you may see a dip in quality when it comes to content, when it comes to thumbnails. There won't be any live streams for a little bit, and the reason being is because my PC's hard drive officially crashed on me. It just happened unexpectedly yesterday. I was supposed to have this video up in particular yesterday, but I've been spending all day yesterday and today trying to get this issue resolved, and it just appears as if my hard drive has completely crashed and I need to get a new one, which I can't do that soon. It's going to have to wait. So if you see a dip in quality for the content, in the thumbnails, no live streams for a little while, that's the reason being. I don't have a backup PC, I don't have a backup laptop. Everything that you see when it comes to thumbnails and the content on the channel is going to be directly from my phone. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to try and do it to the best of my abilities. So if you could just bear with me for the time being, hopefully I can get it resolved soon. I just don't know how soon. So for that time being, obviously there's not going to be any live streams. Quality might not be that great, but I digress. I appreciate all your support, guys. It really does mean the world to me. It was just bad timing that this happened. Really bad timing, but I'm going to do with what I got. I'm going to still try and pump out content for you guys. I'm going to still be able to do showcases and builds like today, but I probably won't be able to cover news and things of that nature. That's probably things that I'm going to have to miss out on. I might just have to do a post about it. And I'll do a community post about this announcing that my PC hard drive crashed. And I don't even know if that's the issue. I'm just assuming that's what it is. I'm going to get a new hard drive and hopefully that fixes it. But this might boil down to me needing to get a whole new PC, which I'm just going to have to wait for. So anyways, just a quick announcement on that. Let's go ahead and get into the Drowsie build. Once again, I appreciate your guys' support. So we have Oneroy here, finally built up, level 80, triple S, almost 22,000 CP. I got pretty lucky with her build, I'm not gonna lie. We have 36% crit rate, 48% crit damage, which is decent, almost 6k attack. We have over 5,000 attack. And then you can see 30% ultimate skill damage bonus, which is nice because that's naturally what you're going to be doing with her quite frequently. If we go over to her skills, fully maxed out. Now, Drowsie, she brings a lot of utility. I've spoken about this before. She's bringing Imprison, where she's CCing the enemies, not allowing them to move. She's providing healing, damage reduction. There's a lot going on, damage boosting. She's a very good modifier, but she's a niche one because she's really specifically tailor-made for Olympus modifiers, but more specifically for Hera and Hades, like directly. And you'll see the reasons why if you're unaware. So if we go over to her normal attack, she's doing light damage, is dealing light damage equal to 415% of attack to locked on enemies. And it's going to gain 4 energy every second. I should mention she's Olympus light energy modifier, if you weren't aware of that already. Now her skill 1 is really nice. This is where you're going to be able to imprison the enemy and you're able to do light damage as well. Now keep in mind the imprison only works when you're in the dreamscape field, which is provided by skill 2. So if we go over to skill 2, essentially it's going to create a dreamscape field and you'll be able to see that illustrated for you, and that lasts for 15 seconds. Now when you're inside that field, a lot of things can happen for you. This is where you're going to get the damage reduction, this is where you're going to get the CCing, the imprison for the enemies, and this is where you're going to get the healing. So essentially the way you want to play Oneroy optimally, or that you would hope the AI will play, because presumably you're going to be using Hades, the one that you're piloting, that modifier, and then Oneroy on the AI slot. So you're hoping that the AI, which they're good, they're going to go ahead and use hopefully the skill 2 first and then pop the skill 1 and skill 3, so that way you get the benefits of it. Now if we go over to skill 3, this one's doing a lot of things. It's a really good skill 3. So this is where you're going to be getting the healing for 10% of your attack every second. So her healing is actually really good if you have this maxed out, and if you have her built up with pretty decent attack, you're going to be getting really good healing. Once again, the healing coupled with the damage reduction is very reminiscent of S Leviathan. And the two together are very synergistic because obviously you're taking less damage and you're getting healing. It's very nice, right? But not only that, it's going to be able to create a dream bubble. You can hold this down to be able to charge it up. And as you're charging it up, it's going to be able to do 1,310% of attack in total to surrounding enemies. So it's an AoE. Now you can be interrupted by getting hit or charging it up to the max, or if you stop the charging yourself. So that can be interrupted that way. And you can charge the skill up to 2 times, and then with each time increasing the non-dot charge skill damage on the dream bubble by 50%. So the skill 3 is doing a lot of utility in there. And I think it's a very good skill 3. Now, if we take a look at the ultimate, essentially what you're going to do is light damage of 936% rounding up. And it's also going to inflict shackle on all enemies hit for 5 seconds. And you're also going to grant a 20% ultimate skill charge when a mod or teammate casts the ultimate skill. So that's how you're going to be able to get more back. And it has a pretty decent AoE on it for the light damage. Now, once again, presumably you're going to be using her alongside Hades. So you're going to have the ultimate skill chain. And the ultimate skill chain is arguably one of the best in the game. So when you do the ultimate with Hades and Oneroy, all members of the team are going to go into the energy and divine grace recovery state for the next 12 seconds. It's going to grant 25 energy and divine grace if the energy and divine grace are at 30 or lower at the time triggering the ultimate skill charge. So you have to keep that in mind, and triggers only once every 3 seconds. Now, here's the huge benefit. It's going to increase damage of all Olympus mods on the team by 60% for 12 seconds when the skill chain hits. So that's where I mentioned earlier, Oneroy's a little more niche than other support characters, because this is the benefit that she's applying to just the Olympus Gen Zone specifically. So you wouldn't really be running her outside of the Olympus Gen Zone. Now, certainly you can, because they can still get the benefits of the other utility within her kit, the healing, damage reduction, and the imprison. But presumably you would want to use her with the Olympus Gen Zone, with Hades specifically, for that damage buff increase, because that is very significant. And that's why she's so good with Hades and Hera. That's why that team works out really well. Furthermore, it's going to play into the Aether code that we're going to talk about here in just a second, why that team is so synergistic. Moving over to her dodge skill, it's actually a really good one. It's going to trigger the 0 time, slows all enemies' movements. We know about that. And it's going to deal light damage equal to 240% attack to surrounding enemies. So that's really good, right? Now, if we move over to her access key, this one's very interesting. Her access key, I mean, I should say her functor, right? Her access key is the weapon. Speaking about her functor, you could really, I would say, place any functor on her. I don't think it really makes a huge difference. Now, I went with this one, the lay lapse, for a few reasons. One, I have it transcended, but 2, increases skill damage by 50% for 7 seconds whenever a dodge effect is triggered. I think that's pretty significant, that 50%. Not to mention she's doing her skills all the time, so I found this to be very beneficial. Now, you could go with, like, let's say, for example, the Melampus if you don't have the lay lapse, but I don't find this one to be too beneficial because it's just going to increase her crit rate of skills and ultimate skills by 15%. I don't think that's really necessary on Oneroy in particular. But if that's all you really have, you can use that one. Another one that you could use if you really wanted to is if we go over to the resource shop, we go over to the dimensional variable, and you go with the 5-star functor here for the Olympus Gen Zone. You do have this one, which I think is not bad for not only Oneroy but also Hades. But for Hades, you would require Hera in a sense, because Hades can't trigger the 0 time. But for Oneroy, she can, and you could benefit from this. 0 time triggered by the mod is extended by 2 seconds, and then when in 0 time, increases skill damage by 30%. So that's pretty beneficial, right? So you can definitely take advantage of this one if you wanted to. It's completely up to you. I'm pretty content with the lay lapse for right now. I may look into that one later down the road. But anyways, that is for the functor. If we move over to the sigils, now this is where I want to make sure people understand this is probably going to be one of the better, more optimal options that you can go with. Now, if you take a look at the recommended, I didn't mean to go there. So if we go here and we go to change and then we go to set, this is the one that they recommend here, which is the Obelisk of Light and the Alexander's Conquest. Now, the Obelisk of Light, obviously you can see I'm running that one. I think it is a good one because it's going to lower the light resistance of surrounding enemies by 5%. That not only helps Oneroy, but it also helps Hera that you're going to be running alongside her, presumably, right? If you're running the most optimal team, that's what you're going to be doing. So that's going to help there. And their attack by 5%. So it actually reduces their attack, the enemies, as well. So you couple that with the damage reduction that Oneroy is providing is really nice. and it also inflicts weak on them, so that's really good as well. So the Obelisk of Light is a very nice sigil set to put on her. But the Alexander's Conquest, increase max energy by 30, is on Oneroy and gains 1 energy whenever an attack hits, triggers only once every 1 second. That I wouldn't really recommend that, because it's not really beneficial, not how you want to play Drowsie in the team comp that you're using her in. So rather than go with that set, I would recommend, and a massive shout out to my chat when I was live streaming building Oneroy, they recommended the Nibble set, and I totally agree. The reason being because it's going to increase ultimate skill charge speed by 30% and ultimate skill damage by 30%. Once again, we talked about her being rammed with Hades, optimal setup, and then the ultimate skill chain. This is going to be the most beneficial thing that you can do for your Oneroy, because the ultimate skill chain boosting the Olympus gen zone by 60% for the damage, and then you're also going to be getting the ultimate skill damage by an additional 30%, and then the ultimate skill charge. You get to ult a lot quicker, let's just put it that way. So I think the Nibble set is going to be the most optimal set that you can put on her, and you're definitely going to want to go with the 4, 5, and 6 slot for the skill effects. And then you can go with either Obelisk of Light, or if you wanted to, you can actually I've heard people go with the Jonas Echo as well as another one that they recommended, or that they are trying out instead of the Obelisk of Light, which I think is a fine choice. I don't see any harm with going with that one. If I can find one, it gives healing. It's the one that you would put on your healers. If I could just find if I could find it. I have it on my Leviathan right now, if I'm not mistaken. If I could just find one to show you. Okay, I found it right here. So the Jonas Echo increases healing by 10%, increases damage of mod or teammate being healed by 5% for 6 seconds when healing. Also, effects from multiple sigils do not stack, but it also increases damage of the mod or teammate healed by 0.2% for every 1% of healing boost on the healer. So sorry about that, got a phone call. That is the issue with recording on my phone rather than on my PC. Anyways, so this is actually going to increase damage for your teammates as well, so there's even more supporting capabilities here. And like I mentioned earlier, her healing is actually pretty good. It's just not super consistent because you can't pop it off every single time, not like you can with Leviathan. So this one is still going to be a viable option for you. So if you wanted to try that one out, you certainly can. But like I mentioned, I'm going with the Obelisk of Light and the Nimble, and here are the skill effects that I have on her. So there you go right there. Now, speaking about the Aether codes, I believe the yellow Aether code is going to be the most beneficial if you're using her in the AI slot and you want her to support the team even more. Now, the reason being is because it's going to reduce the light resistance and shadow resistance of any enemies hit by counting sheep within Dreamscape generated by skill 2 by 25% for 10 seconds. Even more damage that you're going to be able to do against the enemies because you're shredding their resistance to light and shadows, specifically where you're pairing her with Hades and then Hera. Once again, the most synergistic optimal team that you could put together for them specifically. So this is going to allow your Hera, your Oneroy, and your Hades to hit even harder. So I think this is going to be the more beneficial one, in my opinion. Now, if you're using her, let's say in the, like, you're piloting her and you really want to do some more damage, you could definitely go with this Aether code path right here. This is going to be more tailor-made for the skill 3, so that way you're able to do more damage there. And then you have this one right here, which is the other Aether code path, which is going to be more tailor-made for skill 2. So it's completely up to you guys. But once again, I recommend the yellow Aether code. I think this is just going to be the most beneficial for this one. Now, you could do, like, let's say, for example, 2 yellow, and then you want to go 1 blue, 1 red. It's completely up to you. I just go full yellow. I don't see any reason why not to, but it's definitely a preference, whatever you prefer. But that is Oneroy in a nutshell. She's a very, very strong modifier, but once again, just a bit niche, because you're really not going to be using her outside of the Hades comp or without Hades. She's really just made for that team comp specifically. But you know, she has benefits elsewhere. If you don't have Hades, you could definitely still build her up and use her elsewhere. Or if you plan on getting Hades down the road, she's definitely worth building. She's really good. She once again offers a lot of utility. But let's go ahead and just showcase her really quickly at this time. So this gameplay is going to be weird for multiple different reasons for me. First and foremost, Hades on the AI slot for me is very, very weird. And then secondly, playing on mobile. I'm so used to playing on the PC with my controller and on the emulator, and I'm used to those controls. So this just feels very odd for me. But anyways, I gotta get over that. I'm gonna try and play to the best of my abilities. If it's not as good as normal, that's the reason why, essentially. So what you want to do is you want to do skill 2. And the reason being is because it creates the field. The field allows you to do a lot more benefits with your skill 1 and skill 3. So skill 1 is now going to imprison. Without the field, it wouldn't imprison. Also, we got the damage reduction from skill 2. And then with skill 3, you're getting the healing with the field. So we don't have the field out just yet. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and pop everything real quick. Do all the ults real fast. So we're going to go ahead and do the skill 2. And then I'm going to go into skill 1 to imprison, and then skill 3, and then just kind of run around very slowly. Let me go ahead and drop this. See, okay, I got a few people. I think I might have only gotten one person. Who am I fooling? I think I might have only got one. Drop the imprison. Oh, and then the field is gone, so I'm not doing any healing. I don't think I'm doing any healing. So that's a bit unfortunate. But as you can see, we're getting our ult back very fast. And that is the most important thing. Is to be able to ult frequently and often. So that's what we definitely want. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the skill 2 because it takes a while. We're going to go ahead and do skill 1 here. Or not skill 1. Jeez. We're going to go ahead and do Hera's ult. I'm holding off on doing the ultimate skill chain for right now. I want to go into the modified mode. I should probably just do it, right? And I probably should have waited for the skill 2. We're almost in modified mode. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and pop this. And now we're going to get the damage boost. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and do skill 2. Skill 1. And as you can see, doing some pretty good damage. 4.7 mil. If I was piloting, I'm just gonna say it, if I was piloting Hades, that would have been closer to like 8 mil. That certainly would have been closer to like 8 mil. It's very weird not using Hades in this comp. I'm not used to it. But when I'm piloting Hades, we're putting up some nutty numbers. All right, let's do that. I'm gonna try and wait for Hera's ult, if I can. I'm just going to hold this charge up. And I got hit very hard. I wonder if we should just do the ult real quick. I'm contemplating. I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to go ahead and ult. Hera's taking a little too long. And by the time Hera gets her ult, I think we could probably ult again. Let's do that. Got 0 time. Let me see if I can imprison him. Alright, doesn't matter. We're in modified mode. Alright, let's do Hera's ult. And let me get some healing for the team, even though nobody needs it. Like I said, between the damage reduction and between the healing that she's able to offer, it keeps the team pretty topped off. Alright. You can see we've ulted, I don't know how many times already that we've ulted in this one session already. Do I need to do skill 2? No, we're gonna go ahead and kill him. Beautiful. Alright, let me go ahead and do skill 2. Get out of the way. Let's do skill 1. Let me hold down. And we're gonna get healing. Now we got healing, damage reduction. We got some imprison going. Let me see if I can get the imprison again. I'm gonna wait for Hera. Alright, Hera's got hers, so we're gonna buff. And then we're gonna go and ult here as well. Now we have a lot of buffs going on. We have Hera's buff. We have our own buff. And then we're gonna get damage reduction. Go into the modify. Oh no, that's far. Okay, see how I canceled that? So you can cancel the skill 2. If you're too far away, or if you want to reposition for that skill 2 to make sure you're in the field, you can definitely do that by canceling it, because it's a long startup animation, so you can certainly cancel it. So that's something that you can keep in mind just in case. Look, we got the ult already. We're gonna go ahead and ult. It's very nice. It's a very nice team, very nice combo. Very synergistic. That was a lot of varies, but it deserved it. It deserved it. Throw the imprison down for no reason. Let's get healing going for everybody. Even though they don't need it. We could throw the imprison down again, even though I think we missed. Here is buff. Beautiful. Look, we got the ult again. Insanity. And that's just because the ultimate skill charge that we're getting for Drowsie is just... Oh, no. Oh, but we're done. Anyways, guys, I do hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you found this beneficial. Hopefully you learned something, got some value from it. Let's see the damage stats. Why not? What do we got? 13 million? Yeah, 13 million for Drowsie. Not bad. What is that? 55 million? Jeez, Hades popping off. Anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Remember to stand out, be different, have fun, go further beyond in everything that you do. My name is Cody. You call me further. I'll see you all next one. Bye, guys.